She went viral crying over our divorce. But then the internet found the truth and everything crashed. Hi, I'm Milo, 32, and when my wife gave me an ultimatum to spend every weekend babysitting her sister's kids, I gave her divorce papers instead. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just decided, quietly, to burn the whole bridge and walk away without looking back. The first time I met Aiden and Luca, they seemed fine. One was bouncing off the walls like a squirrel on espresso. The other had the attitude of a retired lawyer trapped in an 8-year-old's body. Cute chaos, I thought. Kids being kids. I can handle this. I was wrong. Haley, Bonnie's sister, had just moved back after her second divorce. And like most family emergencies, this one came with overnight bags, toddler tantrums, and guilt trips that smelled like takeout and broken boundaries. Bonnie and I had been solid. Married 3 years. Zero drama. Separate finances. Mutual respect. Or so I thought. She moved into my house when we tied the knot, and we split bills proportionally. I co-signed for her car, helped her rebuild her credit. I didn't need her to contribute much, just act like we were on the same team. But suddenly, with Haley back in town, Bonnie went full ride or die sister mode. Started talking about family stepping up, and how much Haley's been through. Which translated to, Milo, cancel your weekends, you're now on unpaid uncle duty. I said yes the first time. 6 hours later, Silas, my best friend, my fellow hostage, was covered in popcorn dust, permanent marker, and juice stains that might require professional exorcism. The kids had turned my house into a war zone. My bike got dismantled. My protein powder got mistaken for cocoa mix. I then screamed into the couch cushions for 20 straight minutes like a banshee testing acoustics. Luca tried to fix my cabinets with a screwdriver he definitely shouldn't have had access to. I survived. Barely, but I said no to babysitting. Again, respectfully, firmly. That's when Bonnie flipped. You're being selfish, she said. A real man would step up. Nah, a real man did step up. Twice. And then he stepped away. 2 days later, she got the divorce papers. Bonnie didn't believe I was serious at first. Thought it was some dramatic bluff. Left the papers on the table like they were junk mail. Didn't even read them. Just slammed the bedroom door and sulked. I gave her 3 days. 3 days of silent breakfasts, passive-aggressive sighs, and her loudly texting Haley on speakerphone. I didn't engage. Just sipped my coffee and scrolled Zillow listings for apartments near my office, in case she decided to play squatter games. By the time Sunday rolled around and her toothbrush was still in the bathroom, I packed a box. Essentials only. Her makeup bag, the yoga mat she never used, the live laugh love sign she made me hang in the kitchen. I set it gently by the door. No yelling, no fight, just closure and cardboard. That night, she finally snapped. You're really doing this? Over kids? Over helping family? I didn't look up from the game. No, I'm doing this over disrespect. Her voice cracked. You're throwing away our marriage over one argument? I paused the game. It wasn't one argument, Bonnie. It was every time you told me my boundaries didn't matter. Every time you volunteered my time like it was yours to give. Every time you let your sister treat me like the hired help. She blinked. But she needs support. She needs a babysitter. She needs a break. That's fine. What she doesn't need is me. I didn't sign up for joint custody of your sister's chaos. Then came the tears. The kind designed to trigger guilt, not empathy. I let her cry. I wasn't cold, just done. Monday, she didn't go to work. Spent the whole day texting her mom, her sister, probably the Pope, anyone who might remind her she was the victim here. I came home to find Gloria, her mother, sitting on my couch like some passive-aggressive judge in pearls. We need to talk, she said, patting the cushion beside her. I didn't sit. Instead, I handed Bonnie a manila envelope, notarized this time, with a checklist for item retrieval and a date circled in red. Vacate by Friday. Gloria gasped like I'd slapped her with the Bible. This is outrageous. Marriage takes work. No, I said, marriage takes respect. Work is what you do after that's in place. Bonnie stood there, holding the envelope like it was radioactive. No more speeches. No more guilt. She had until Friday. Friday came faster than expected. Bonnie didn't pack. Instead, she escalated. That morning, I walked into my own living room and found all three of them, Bonnie, Haley, and Gloria, sitting there like a courtroom panel from some twisted family-themed reality show. Tea mugs on coasters. Judging eyes locked and loaded. Milo, sit down, Bonnie said. Like she was the one serving me papers. I didn't. Just crossed my arms. We've decided. Gloria began, which was my first red flag, that this can be salvaged. With some reflection and humility. Yours presumably. Bonnie flinched. Haley didn't. She leaned forward, elbows on knees, like she was about to sell me timeshares in hell. Look, Haley said, I know my kids are a lot, but families help each other. That's how we were raised. You were raised, I said, to drop two wild animals into someone else's house, destroy their property, and then demand free childcare. They're children. They're chaos. And they're not mine. Haley's lip curled. So you're just giving up? No, out, Bonnie chimed in. You're being vindictive. I needed support. You abandoned me. I set a boundary. You ignored it. That's not abandonment. That's consequence. Gloria sighed. That slow, disappointed mother sigh, like I was 8 and just admitted I didn't believe in Santa. This is pride. Milo, you're punishing Bonnie because she didn't cater to your every whim. No, I'm ending a marriage where my needs don't exist unless they benefit someone else's. Schedule. The room went quiet. Then, Haley stood up and went nuclear. You're pathetic, she snapped. You'd rather be alone than help the woman you claimed to love. You're just a bitter little man who can't handle a strong woman and a few messy kids. I tilted my head. You're right about one thing. I'd much rather be alone. Gloria tried one last Hail Mary. She's your wife. You build a life together. You sacrifice. I looked Bonnie dead in the eye. I did sacrifice. I sacrificed weekends, sanity, furniture, respect, and you still chose Haley's convenience over my boundaries every single time. Bonnie blinked. Her lip trembled. For a second, I saw a flicker of the woman I married, but just a flicker. Then she looked at her sister, then her mom, and that was it. She said, quietly, fine. That night, she started packing. Saturday, I changed the locks. Sunday, she came back for her things. No makeup, hair pulled back, hoodie and sunglasses. Haley drove the car. Gloria stayed in the back seat. Bonnie didn't say much, just loaded her boxes, one by one. I handed her a small tote bag. I'd set aside wedding photos, the custom Christmas ornament we made our first year together, and the letter she wrote me on our honeymoon. She stared at it. I don't want this. You will. Eventually, she didn't argue, just took it, walked back to the car, and drove off. Silas came over that evening with beer and burgers. Well, he said, cracking open a bottle. That escalated quickly. No, I replied. It escalated perfectly. We clinked bottles, sat back, and watched the game in a house that finally felt like mine again. But the quiet wasn't going to last. Because Bonnie? She wasn't done yet. It started with a voicemail from my boss. Milo, just a heads up. We got a weird call from someone claiming you're emotionally unstable and hostile to women. Said you shouldn't be working in a leadership role. I shut it down, but thought you should know. I knew that voice. Even filtered through secondhand bitterness and bad intentions, it was Haley, using her downtime between custody weekends and Facebook rants to sabotage my life. That same afternoon, my company's Google page suddenly had 3 new 1-star reviews, all vague, all personal. Beware of this place. Toxic energy, misogynistic leadership, very unsafe for women. Guess who they mentioned by name? Bonnie never left reviews herself. That was Haley's brand. But Bonnie did the next best thing. She took to Facebook. Her post was poetic. Black and white photo of her holding a mug with the caption, "Sometimes the people who promise forever only meant convenience, but I'm finding myself again. And I choose peace." Cue the comments. You're so strong, girl. He didn't deserve you. I always thought he seemed cold. I didn't respond. Didn't comment. Just screenshotted everything. But it escalated. A few days later, someone egged my house. Real mature. Security cam caught a glimpse of a car pulling away, looked suspiciously like Haley's. I filed a report, added it to the growing evidence folder. I'd started labeling the Petty Chronicles. Then someone, and again, I'm not naming names, But come on, posted my full address in a private Facebook group for local single moms, complete with a photo of my front door. That night, I slept with the lights on. Silas came over, walked in with a pizza and a baseball bat. Just in case, he said. Also, I'm sleeping here. You're not getting murdered without me. I was half laughing, half exhausted. The situation had spun out into some Real Housewives of Suburbia mess, and all I wanted was to watch hockey and be left alone. But the final straw. Bonnie texted me that Friday. You can keep the house, but I'm keeping the car. I stared at my phone, blinking. The car, the one I co-signed for, the one insured under my name, the one titled primarily to me. I replied. You have 24 hours to return it, or I report it stolen, she replied. You wouldn't dare. I did. Filed a non-emergency police report. Explained the title, the insurance, the situation. They were polite, professional, and extremely not surprised. 2 hours later, officers showed up at Haley's apartment where Bonnie had been crashing. Took the car. No drama, no shouting. Just keys handed over and a very red-faced Bonnie trying to hide behind her sister's blinds. She called me 17 times that evening. Left messages alternating between sobbing and shouting. You ruined my life. You embarrassed me. You'll regret this. I wouldn't. I didn't. Because I was finally reclaiming it, my house, my peace, my damn life. But Bonnie wasn't finished hitting rock bottom. And when she did, she tried to claw her way right back to me. Week 3 of the fallout, and the Bonnie-Haley duo was crumbling faster than a toddler-built Jenga tower. I didn't even need to stalk her socials. The updates came to me like clockwork through mutuals who lived for the drama. Haley's new dream guy, gone. Apparently, he dipped the second she tried to bring Aiden and Luca to their second date like they were part of the buffet menu. Bonnie, a full-time babysitter, was left holding the tantrum bag, solo every weekend. Suddenly it looked like a vacation. Her coworkers were noticing too. One of them, let's call her Casey, DM'd me out of nowhere. Hey, sorry to bother you. I work with Bonnie. Just thought you should know. She's been missing work, showing up late, crying at her desk. She got pulled into a closed-door meeting with the dentist last week. They're one step away from letting her go. Thanked her politely. Didn't say much. Just took a long sip of my coffee and let the schadenfreude sink in. That Friday, she got fired. 3 missed opens in a row. Mix-ups with patient records. One poor guy showed up for a root canal and got told he was scheduled for a whitening. And Bonnie? She blamed stress. Stress she created. The social media posts got more poetic. Black and white selfies. Inspirational quotes about betrayal, womanhood, finding strength in brokenness. My personal favorite was, sometimes the one you thought would save you was just a lesson. Now I rise. I almost commented, you rose straight into unemployment and unpaid rent, but I restrained myself. Haley, of course, jumped into full feminist Avenger mode. Her new crusade, toxic masculinity, ruined my sister's life. She tried to weaponize TikTok. It backfired, because while Bonnie was off crying about me, Haley was still demanding Bonnie take the kids for free every Friday to Sunday so she could date men who ghosted her faster than you can say, stepdad. Eventually, Bonnie snapped. She told Haley no, and that, apparently, was treason. They had a fight so loud, a neighbor overheard it and called Gloria, who I kid you not showed up to mediate. 3 adult women screaming over who should deal with Aiden's latest tantrum over chicken nuggets. And this is where the cracks became craters. Bonnie called me. Blocked number. I ignored it. 5 times. On the 6th, I answered. Her voice? Barely recognizable, like it had been soaked in regret and wrung out. Milo, I need to talk. I made a mistake. I was wrong. I want to come back. Please. I'll change. I'll set boundaries. I'll cut her off. I swear. That last part hit me. The desperation. The switch in tone. 6 months ago, she laughed in my face for setting boundaries. Now, they were her bargaining chip. I said nothing. Please, she whispered. I can't do this anymore. You were right. About everything. There it was, the validation. The apology. The open door. But I didn't walk through it. No, I said quietly. I do still love you. But love's not enough. Not when respect's gone. So that's it. You chose chaos. I chose peace. And I hung up. She didn't call back. But she wasn't done with her final move. because 6 days later, the divorce finalized, and Bonnie showed up at my door. It was a Saturday afternoon. Silas and I were midway, mid-game, mid-laugh, when the pounding started. Not a knock, not a polite doorbell press. Pounding, like the front door owed her money and she came to collect. Silas paused the game. "You expecting anyone?" "Nope." He peeked through the peephole, whistled. "Your ex. And, buddy, she looks rough." I stood up, heart calm, mind sharp. I'd already closed that chapter, but I opened the door anyway, not for her, but for the closure I never asked for but always deserved. Bonnie stood there, disheveled and shaking. Sweatpants, hoodie with the questionable stain, mascara streaked down both cheeks like war paint applied by a toddler. Her eyes? Wild. "Milo, please." She was crying before the words even finished leaving her mouth. 2 minutes, she begged. "That's all I'm asking. Please." I didn't say anything, just stared. So Silas, God bless this man, stepped forward. "You've got 1 minute," he said, arms crossed like a nightclub bouncer with a moral compass. Bonnie didn't even blink, just collapsed into speech. "I made a huge mistake. Haley poisoned me. She turned me against the one person who ever actually had my back. I didn't see it until it was too late." She looked at me now, fully sobbing. "I was stupid. I let her feed me lies, and I believed them. I thought you were cold, controlling, but you were just trying to hold the line. And I trampled all over it." Silas and I stayed quiet. "Let her talk. She's drowning, Milo. And she dragged me under with her. I hate who I've become. I hate how I treated you." She took a shaky breath. "But I can be better. I will be better. I'll cut her off. I'll go to therapy. I'll do anything. Just take me back." I glanced at Silas. He didn't flinch, just raised one eyebrow. "Like your move, King." I turned back to Bonnie, and the truth came easy. "You had 3 years," I said. 3 years to be the woman you were promising me now. But instead, you chose Haley. You chose clubbing over communication. You chose enabling over empathy." He started shaking her head. No, didn't choose, you did," I said. "Every time you ignored how I felt. Every time you told me I was being selfish for not volunteering as your sister's free childcare. Every time you laughed when I said no." I stepped back slightly, hand on the door. "And now, you're here. Because your life fell apart. Because your sister turned on you. And now look like a soft landing. But I'm not." She was crying so hard she couldn't speak. Silas finally stepped in. "No offense," he said, not unkindly, "but you burned down a castle and came back asking if the ashes still had plumbing." Bonnie's lip trembled. "So that's it?" "That's it," I said. "You really don't love me anymore?" I didn't answer, because the truth was complicated. I did love her once, but not the person she'd become, and definitely not the one standing in front of me now, begging not out of love but consequence. She stood there for another 30 seconds, waiting. When I didn't move, she finally turned, walked down the steps, got into some beat-up sedan, definitely not the Camry, and drove off. Silas closed the door behind her. Silence. Then he let out the loudest fart and just whispered, "Symbolic." We lost it, laughed until the wings went cold, and for the first time in months, I felt light. Really, truly free. But it wasn't quite over yet, because the world was about to find out who Bonnie really was. I didn't expect her meltdown to go viral, but in hindsight, maybe I should have, because Bonnie didn't go quiet after that doorstep sob fest. Oh no, she doubled down. She posted a TikTok the next morning. Tear Street, shaking hands. Soft piano music in the background titled, "How My Husband Abandoned Me After I Gave Him Everything." 3 minutes of emotional appeals, half-truths, and full-on fiction. I supported him while he figured out who he was. I sacrificed my happiness to keep our home running. Then, he threw me away because I needed help. She never mentioned the unpaid babysitting marathons, the clubbing, the $6,000 credit card bills, or the Sharpie art on my dining room table. Just tears and buzzwords. The comments were brutal. At first, it was all, "Queen, you deserve better," and another "men afraid of a strong woman," but then someone, not me, not Silas, stitched it with the compilation of screenshots from her own socials. Captions like, "Girls' night, men are temporary, mimosas are forever. Babysitting is free when he's whipped. If he's not paying, why is he here?" Then came the receipts. Photos of her and Haley at clubs during their self-care nights. Comments from coworkers. Didn't you get fired for showing up drunk twice? Even Haley's ex popped in. She helped destroy my marriage too. Good luck, bro. It snowballed. TikTok turned it into a meme. When you call him useless, but want him back after losing everything. Reddit found the Facebook post with my address. Someone flagged it as doxing. Admins took it down, then posted an apology to me. Bonnie's follower count dropped like a rock. Haley tried to clap back, posted her own video rant about men who can't handle women with opinions. But her comment section was already on fire. Didn't you get dumped last month for bringing your kids to a date? Girl, he wasn't your husband. Why are you yelling? And then the real kicker. Bonnie's old coworker leaked a work chat where she admitted to letting Milo babysit because he's dumb enough to do it. Game, set, match. Bonnie deleted all her socials in one night. Poof, gone. Haley tried to pivot to Instagram wellness coach. Lasted 2 days. Someone reposted her rant about fire station drop-offs, and the campaign crumbled. I was back to peace. Gym in the mornings, work during the day, wings and football with Silas on weekends, silence in the evenings. But the final moment of closure? That came with an email from Bonnie's dad, not Gloria, not Haley, her father. Subject line: I owe you an apology. The email was short, direct, no dramatic flares, no emotional detours. Milo, I just want to say I'm sorry. I didn't know half of what was going on until it all blew up. Gloria kept most of it quiet, said it was just a rough patch. I thought you were walking away from a good thing. Turns out you were walking away from a fire. Bonnie's staying with us. It's not going well. She's angry all the time, blames everyone. But she's not fooling anyone anymore. Haley's worn out her welcome too. You were right to get out when you did. For what it's worth, I always thought you were a good man. I hope you find better. I sat there, just reading that last line over and over again. I hope you find better. Not find someone better, just better. And it didn't come in the form of a rebound date or a new girlfriend. It came in the quiet mornings when my coffee stayed warm because I wasn't cleaning up after a pair of pint-sized hurricanes. It came in the sound of my own breathing, not overpowered by chaos or club music echoing down the hallway at 2 a.m. It came in the full nights of sleep, the Sunday afternoon spent reorganizing the garage, the way Silas would randomly stop by, drop off a 6-pack and say, "You're glowing, bro. Divorce looks good on you." It came in finally recognizing that love isn't just about sticking around. It's about being respected. It's about having boundaries that stay put, even when someone tries to bulldoze them with guilt, family, or guilt about family. I never unblocked Bonnie. Never responded when Gloria sent a Christmas card with a "Let's reconnect" note inside. Never answered when Haley tried calling from a new number 3 months later, just to talk. I didn't need to. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. Some fires are meant to burn it all down so you can finally see clearly. And me? I was standing on solid ground, finally, watching the smoke fade into blue sky. And oh more ultimatums. And oh more babysitting. And oh more begging for my own peace. Just me, a clean house, and the sound of football on Sunday, with a cold drink in hand, and Silas farting during the fourth quarter like clockwork. Life wasn't perfect, but it was mine again, and that was more than enough.